Um, okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Marianne. My question is, um, Iblis and Melek. Now, I love the fact that you had these characters, and I wondered whether it was the fact that you spent all that time in Turkey that gave you those names, because I've researched them, and Iblis means devil and Melek means angel.
That's
So
right.
fascinating, I thought, in obviously in Islam. And I wondered if that's where you got it from, and what gave you the thought, because Iblis isn't very devilly at all. He's devilishly handsome, but
No, initially, our cook, when we were running the hotel, our chef had a lovely, beautiful little daughter called Melek, which is angel, as you pointed out. And the opposite, obviously, is Iblis. And when I first started, Iblis was going to have a dark and murky past, which I did give him. And I did say in the text that one of them was not as good as they thought they were, and one of them was not as bad. So I have no huge plans to make Iblis devilish, but there is no doubt that he belongs to the See a Rule, Break a Rule club, probably was a founding member as well. Um, and although Cage got him out of his supposed scrape, there's no saying he won't get into more. He's just such a fun character to write that I didn't want him disappearing down to the dark side. Melek, however, Angel, who is supposed to be so good, has a difficult side, which I'm not too sure what to do with yet. So watch this space, because I'm in my usual state of authorly confusion, I'm afraid.
oh, thank you. I love the way he speaks. I was reading. I've gone on to the next book because I couldn't wait. So I was reading a bit last night, and it is I, Iblis. And it's just so lovely. I
Well,
love it.
actually, one of our staff did that. We had a lovely waiter called Ebo who was terrified of snakes, which was really unfortunate because there were snakes all over the place. And we had to go down to and get some wine out of the cellar, which was cool and dark and number one resort for every snake in the neighborhood. And we would open the door with this massive rusty key and drag the door open. And Ebo would stand on the top step, stamping his feet, shouting, "Ho, snakes! It is I, Ebo, who comes. Be gone!" No idea where he learned that from. But it was at one and the same time hysterical and not particularly reassuring, especially when one day he said, "Ha!" and lunged into a dark corner and emerged on it with hanging off a stick a great long snake skin that had been shed in the corner. Snakes don't bother me. I quite like them, actually. I find them cuddly and fluffy. But it was a long time before we could persuade him to go back down into the wine cellar again. I suggested he wear Wellingtons, but he was very careful of his appearance. And apparently, trendy guys do not wear Wellingtons, not in Turkey, when it's 80 degrees out there anyway.
Thank you. Carol M has pointed out that the name Malek is that Malek with an A is the name of the god in The Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and she also has a character called Markham. So there
Oh,
we
right.
go.
Well, don't tell me anymore because it's on my to be read list, Fourth Wing. I think it's only one down. I've watched it work its way up slowly. And the reviews are great. So I'm really looking forward to reading that.
Has anyone else got any questions?
God, I hope so.
I do, but I'm struggling to find my little hand up
Yeah, I was
thing.
gonna say Sharon does, but she obviously is not finding little hand raised.
Can we not just
I
do
don't
it
know why.
manually?
I usually have it. It's usually there. Can't see it. May I?
Go
Go
ahead.
for it.
Very
Go
much.
for it.
So it kind of relates to the last one. I think you do it twice in the last one. I can only remember. I can't even. Not even sure I'm going to remember them now. But you definitely did it twice in the last one. You definitely did it once at least in the first book.
What am I doing? This build-up is
Easter
driving me
eggs.
insane.
Easter eggs. Were you
Yes.
aware when you did them? But like, were they purposeful? So when in the first book, when you said "and the world went white," did you know what you were doing to us?
Yes.
You did.
Oh, yes. I always know what I'm doing
Love
to
it.
you.
All right, good.
None of it is accidental. I
Good.
sit
I
here
didn't think
every
so.
night thinking, how can I make my readers suffer?
Yeah, I really love that. Honestly, it chills, like you're in a book and suddenly something else is brought into you and you're like, oh,
And of course, it's to make sure you're all paying attention.
yes. Yeah, no, I really love that. I love that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Got Debbie and Christine with their hands up. Debbie, do you want to go first?
Sorry, more of a generic question about the case series in question. Did you deliberately think, I'll write the Regency book, I'll write the time traveling book, I'll write the scare the pants off them book? Or was it just that's how the story developed from your initial kind of starting point? Was it that was how you always intended to go, or did it evolve that way?
I know I wrote a couple of St. Mary's, but St. Mary's was not the first book I had in my head, if that makes sense. I had sort of several stories circulating around, but just One Damn Thing did so well, and I wanted to build on that. So I wrote a couple more and got well into the series. And I think the next one I wrote was The Nothing Girl. Which I remember it was winter in Turkey and the weather was terrible. The rain was hammering down and I sat in a lovely cafe called Boazici on the seafront and just wrote and wrote and wrote, much to the mystification of the waiters who couldn't understand why a woman would sit down with 4 hot chocolates and 8 notebooks and just write hour after hour after hour. So that was the next one that I wrote and I enjoyed writing it so much. I thought, I'm going to do other stories. The Time Police were not in my head at this point at all. So the next one I wrote after a couple more St. Mary's was, oh God, where am I? White Light. Sorry, White Silence.
So was that a conscious decision then to sort of take a different style away from St. Mary's?
Yeah.
And you always wanted to write that?
I'd had this thought in my head for years about, well, some years, about a woman who saw things differently to everybody else. I toyed for ages with the idea of somebody who could pick up an object and either know the story of the last person who touched it, or if it was a haunted object or something like that, and would whiz back to the past and so on. And I honestly can't remember where I got the idea about auras and colours from. I didn't actually know about auras then, which was why I called it a colour rather than an aura. And then obviously when I started researching it, I came across the term aura, but I thought I would stick with colour. And I also did a fair bit of research into synesthesia, if I pronounced that right.
I love the idea of that. Yeah.
Taste in colours and hear in colours and all sorts of things. But I didn't want to make it too complicated. And also I didn't want to make her too powerful so that she could overcome everything. And also I wanted the exact opposite of Max, who I don't know if you've noticed, but Max can be a little bit gung-ho at times.
Just a tad.
Yes. And Elizabeth Cage is more, one reader described it as a 1950s housewife. But that was the contrast that I wanted. And in moments of crisis, unlike Max, she does not gird up her loins and go out and sally forth and shoot someone. She cleans out her kitchen cupboards and shampoos the carpet. And that's the way that she restores normality to her life, because she very, very much wants to be normal. As the books have gone on and her life was opened up with her adventures with Iblis and Melek and Michael Jones, I'm writing the fourth one now, and it's opened up, her life has opened up quite a lot. And suddenly she's viewing the thought of returning to her housekeeping, library visits, home baking. It's not as appealing as it used to be. I'm not saying she's going to become an adrenaline junkie or anything like that. But she is, I hope, growing a little as a character. Whether she will live long enough to regret venturing out into the world like a normal person would do, whether she will come to regret telling others about her supposed gift, I haven't quite decided, but I think the odds are that it will not go well. Her dad told her to keep it quiet for a reason. So, you know, just a little something for you to worry about when you go to bed tonight.
Thanks, that helps massively.
Anything I can do.
Marvelous. Thank you very much.
Christine, we've got Christine next, I think.
Okay.
Hello, Jodi.
Hello there.
Thank you so much. I've never read so many books in such a short time and been so excited.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. I'm really glad you're enjoying them.
Oh, and I've devoured the lot. So,
What, all of them?
all the ones that I could get my hands on, yes.
Oh,
I've
okay,
read them all
great.
via my Kindle. So, can I ask you a bit of a technical question about dark light?
Okay.
Yep. You describe the ladies in the village as being, how can I put this politely? A little bit like inbred.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they do have men, or a man, once a
Yes.
year. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, obviously. So there's a little bit of new blood coming in. But as Elizabeth Cage points out, of course, they don't know what they're getting, do they? If you just grab the first man that passes, you could end up with anyone.
Yes.
Sorry, do carry on.
Well, I know. I was just. I was just a little bit, because genetically they have quite a big gene pool, even if they don't know who or what they're getting every year. It's a different set of male genes every year.
It is, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but they all have, I think I've said this somewhere, members of the same family tend to have related colours. If you
Yes.
have, like the women have, shades of blue, purple and turquoise in different quantities to give them individuality, but the base is always those three colours.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That was my question.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And keep writing, please do.
I shall. Pen here, all ready.
Okay. Thank you.
The question over in the sidebar: is the Sorensen Clinic the same place as the Red House, or very similar?
In the book I'm writing, which I'm not going to tell you about very much, they are proposing a name change, and I'm not going to say any more. Sorry. So I can't give it all away. Hazel will go mad.
That's very exciting, though. Has anyone else got any? Can't see anyone else's hands up. Oh, Sarah Pennington has got her hand up. Sarah, do you want to ask a question?
Yeah, so on the topic of are they the same thing, the red armchairs that wanted to get back together and haunted the cottage in order to get back together, are they the same red armchairs that appear when Max et al. Go back in time to the Victorian property?
I haven't said so, but in my head, Yes, they are. Because it's one of those things. I was writing away and I got to an armchair in the hall that was in the hall of the house in Swan Place, wasn't it? Something like that. And I remember writing armchair, and I carried on typing for a couple of lines, and then I went back and inserted the word red in front of the armchair, because I knew it would give my readers something to think about again. I'm sorry, I don't mean to torture you. Well, yes, actually I do. It's great fun. But yes, in my head, they are the same armchairs.
And is it the same set of cliff-top cottages that feature in one of the Time Police novels?
It might be. This is me. I'm a commitment phobe. I don't like tying myself down. But yes, I mean, how many sets of cliffside cottages are there likely to be in a tiny place like that? So yeah, read it as, you know, the author being naughty.
Yes. Well, we like the author being naughty. I have to say, after I posted on Facebook about mopping your blooded brow at the convention, the number of my friends that I didn't know that you were fans that were popping up going, oh yes, her books are fantastic, and thinking, oh good, I have good choice in friends.
Floods. It took ages to wash it out of my hair. And I've been expecting to hear from the hotel because the towels were pink by the time I finished. But I haven't heard anything. Have you heard anything, Karen?
No, and I think we paid enough to be there, so they can bloody well wash the towels.
That stuff was absolutely
I don't think
lethal.
after that meal on Saturday night, I don't think they dare contact us again.
Mm.
After Hazel went off at them.
Yeah, she was scary.
She was really
After
scary.
Hazel justifiably went off at them.
Yeah, it was scary. It really was.
The
secret is always to stand behind Hazel. It's easily the safest place.
We were sat in the bar having a quiet drink when Hazel came in to have a quiet word with the manager on the shift at the time. And to be fair, everything she said sounded absolutely justified. You'd gone in after we sat down for drinks. We were at least 3 or 4 drinks in when she came out, and you still hadn't got fed at that point. So I think Hazel had a perfectly valid point. So
to be fair, the manager came afterwards and apologized quite charmingly to me. Yeah, it was just, he blamed Doctor Who. Actually, everybody stayed in their rooms to watch Doctor Who, and then there was this massive convergence on the restaurant at 7:30. So yeah, he was very, very clear it was Doctor Who's fault. Did anybody see it last night, by the way?
No, we've recorded it.
Brilliant.
Absolutely.
No spoilers then, but I thought it was really good. The best episode for a long time. Does anybody agree?
Very weird, very good, but very unexpected, and it was hide behind your eyes at some point. Then it got,
it
like
was
I say,
a bit scary, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little creepy.
Yes, creepy is the word. Yes.
Yeah, it was.
My arms are too
like,
long.
And Bernard Cribbins. I was like, Bernard's back. Just I was like,
yes.
oh,
yeah.
that was nice, but yeah, very unsettling, I think.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? Back to the old days, I think, when you were sort of halfway behind the sofa most of the time.
I'm all for more David Tennant in my life, but that wasn't quite how I wanted it to go, shall we say? So
We were all for David Tennant in our lives.
Yes.
Karen, then come back and say that phrase again and think about it very carefully. That's all I'm going to say. It was good, unexpected, and I think they kept it secret really, really well, because there was no spoilers that I'm aware of for the entire episode. They've been very cagey about it. It's different from, I think, most episodes I've seen, but yeah, definitely worth watching. And I'm looking forward to the next one next Saturday with Neil Patrick Harris as well.
It was interesting, wasn't it, that the whole story was mostly just the Doctor and Donna, and they carried it beautifully, I thought. I think Catherine Tate is actually a very underrated actress.
Yes. It threw me at first when you see, how can I put this, there's the orange scene and the blue scene, and you suddenly realise they're 2 different scenes. You're like, hang on a minute, but they're over. Oh, I'm not sure I like this now. This is getting a bit
Yeah.
Or-
Anyway, no spoilers for those who haven't seen it.
Yeah, very careful.
No,
but
we're about to watch it when we finish this, so shh.
it's good.
Did anybody see the last week's
Yes.
one?
Oh, yes.
In a
Yeah.
bedroom.
Yeah, we all
Yeah.
did.
Who thought when the door crashed in, the time police are here?
To be fair, big black, not very good with people. Yeah,
Yeah.
100% time
Yeah,
police.
lots
Yeah.
of blasters. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I
And
will
and somebody- yeah.
Just an
With
update
letters.
on Killing Time. I'm just finishing off the edits now. So as soon as they're done, and I'll send them off next week, Zara, now that we've got the finished version, will be able to start narrating soon. So that's happening as well. So it all inches itself along. And I've got to get them finished actually, because they're sending me the edits for Small Hope and Pennyroyal next week to get started on. So, you know, busy.
I think Christine had another question, but
Yes,
before we
sorry,
go
Christine.
there, I have an off-topic question from May, who says, "What do you think about the new revelations from Philippa Langley about the princes in the Tower?"
I'm embarrassed to say I didn't watch it. If I've dealt with something in the books like that, the last thing I really want to see is shed loads of evidence disproving anything that I've written. So I didn't watch it. I'm afraid. I have my own theory about what happened, part of which is in the books. But I'm sorry, I can't comment. Oh, sorry.
That's fine. I don't think it disproved anything that you've said. In fact, I think it lent credence to what you've said.
That's exactly what I think.
It
That's
was
why
that
I've
when
asked her the
I'd
question.
had something to drink and I was banging on about Edward IV and his mother and the archer Will Blaburn. I seem to
Yeah.
remember I had something to drink and I banged on about it at some length.
Yeah. Well, it was part of me found it a bit disappointing that this documentary. That's why I wanted to know what you thought about it, but maybe you will watch eventually.
Maybe I will in a couple of years' time. Maybe it's frustrating because I don't think we'll ever know. And even I do think they should perform the autopsy on the two bodies found in the tower, even if it's
100%.
only to disprove that they're not the princes. But as I say, this is my theory that they won't do it because it will prove that something happened and the royal line got dislocated round about Edward IV and his mum.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. I've got Sheena with her hand up and I had Christine with her hand up. Are you sorted now, Christine?
Yes, thank you. I was just
Fine.
talking about the time police in Doctor Who.
Oh, that's fine. We've covered that then. In that case, it's Sheena's turn.
I've got a very quick question because my main question Karen stole. I was going to ask about Iblis and Malak. So we've still got our psychic link going. But the question's about Small Hope and Pennyroyal. Is it a short story or a full novel? Please say full novel.
Okay, I had a thought, and I spent some time thinking about it. And I spoke to Frankie, my really, really long-suffering editor, and said, I've had an idea, and I think I'd like to write a short story about how they met. I think people would be interested in learning how two such different characters came to meet. And she said, oh, yes, I think that's a good idea as well. Do a short story, and we'll have a look at it. So I sat down, and actually I had one of those moments that I had when I wrote just one damn thing after another, which I wrote in about 3 months because I couldn't stop. I was so excited about it. And it was exactly the same with Small Hope and Pennyroyal. And I set it all up. And detailed how they met. And then I thought, well, what happened afterwards? And then what happened after that? And what happened after that? And it grew and grew and grew and grew. And at about 30,000 words, I dropped her an email to say, I think it's going to be a bit on the long side, not so much short story, more kind of novella. And she said, oh, that's all right, you know, keep at it. So I kept at it, and it grew and grew and grew. And I got to 60,000 words and said to her that I think this is going to be a short book. And she said, well, that's all right. And it grew and grew and grew. And in the end, I had to email her and say, Frankie, it's 125,000 words. How do you feel about that? And she was fine with it. And the contract came through for a full-length novel. So what you're getting is a full-length novel. But because it started life as a short story, there are no chapters in it. It is segments of what happened and what, because I think it moves more quickly that way. And it's Small Hope telling the story. Pennyroyal tells a very little bit of the story, but mostly the story is seen through Small Hope's eyes, and how they met and embarked upon a life of crime together.
Brilliant.
Probably said too much now. It was the way you sat there smiling at me so angelically, I just couldn't stop talking.
And when's it due out?
I think it is September of next year. So I'll get the edits
Brilliant.
at the end of next week. Christmas, sadly, comes in the middle of it, but I should be able to get them back in the new year. Then it'll be copy and proofread. And then I'll okay the final version. Then it will go off to Zara for her to narrate, because she can't do anything until we have the final fixed text. And it'll go off to the printer and all the other people who do their bits and pieces. And it'll be out, fingers crossed, in September. And of course, you've got Killing Time in June. And they did tell me when Storm Christopher is going to be out, and I've forgotten because it goes in one ear and out the other, but that's happening. And I've also started next year's Christmas stories. So with luck, and again, fingers crossed, it should be 2 full-length novels next year and 2 short stories.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
This from the lady who's taking it easy and not writing quite so many books.
Yeah, this is all my fault. Last year I was pretty shattered, actually, and I said to Headline, look, I'd had my 70th birthday as well, and I said, look, you know, I'm getting old. I don't think I can do 2 books a year. I'd like to slow down a bit, and just have some thinking time to plan future series. I needed to think where the Time Police was going to go and where Elizabeth Cage is going to go, and they were fine with it, and they said, yes, of course, 1 book a year is fine, not a problem at all. And of course, no sooner had I said that than ideas came flying into my head in all directions, and I'm actually writing about 3 books simultaneously at the moment, having all sorts of ideas. So I don't think it's going to be 1 book a year, actually. I think I'm just going to have to give that up. It's not going to work. I can't switch it off. And I have to tell you, because this is hilarious, I sat down and I thought, you need to use your time more productively. I know I will get voice to text. Now, this was fraught with problems, as you can imagine, but I thought I could overcome them. So Word actually have voice to text on Windows 10. So I delved away, set it all up, and it was rubbish. It was utter crap. I dictated away, and what came up on the screen bore no relation to what I was saying. And I don't know if it's my stupid Bristol accent or what. But anyway, I thought, no, I can't be doing with this. This is rubbish. Attempting to unload Read Aloud, I knackered my drivers, and then I knackered 10 or 12 other things as well. And then I thought, I'll return it to factory settings. That will cure that. And it didn't. And in the end, I was forced to admit defeat and trudge off to the computer shop again, where the really lovely Steve took one look and said, what have you done now? And I said, I've knackered my drivers. I've broken this. There's no sound at all. I don't know where it's gone. I can't get it to do this. It won't do that anymore. Can you sort me out? And I went back 3 days later. Perfect. Everything fine. But he still doesn't know what I did and how I managed to do it. So that particular attempt at working smarter but not harder as they say these days, was a complete and utter failure. And I lost 5 days writing time as well. So if anybody's got any brilliant ideas for how I can bang words down more quickly, I would be very grateful.
You could use one of these dictaphones and get someone to type it up.
Yes, I could do, I suppose.
I type very
Careful, my life
quickly.
is being made hell by a digital dictation device.
The thing is,
I have threatened that either it or me will end up in the harbour if it doesn't start working better soon.
yeah, I'm not good with technology, and my problem is I'm a professional typist. I type at about 110 words a minute. So that's not the bit that's letting me down. Somehow it's getting it from here onto my screen that is the problem. I think I need a telepath or something.
Can't offer one of those. I
No,
type at
no,
that sort of speed
no.
as well.
Amazon
That's why
don't do
my
them.
message is so long. I've got Deb's with her hand up again, but I've got a message from Hazel Broomfield, who for some reason can't get her face to appear on, and she couldn't log on, so she missed some of the earlier bit. She's asking, the first book of Elizabeth Cage was mostly a thriller conspiracy, and the second one is more supernatural paranormal. Why did you switch from being thriller conspiracy to more supernatural paranormal?
Well, as usual, the story just got on top of me and I lost all control. So that happens quite often. But it did occur to me as I embarked on the second book that if I wasn't careful, it would be very episodic and it would be all the same thing. She would go somewhere, there would be some sort of supernatural, mysterious circumstance, which she would cure or put right or whatever, and that would be the end of it. So I wanted major themes running through the book. So there's her battle with Sorensen is one theme. The supernatural stuff that happens to her is another theme. Iblis and Melik's story is another theme as well. And in the one that I'm writing at the moment, and I did touch on this at the end of Long Shadows, they were talking about, because things happen to them wherever I go, they talked about actually setting up a business and trying to make some money out of it. So they're moving in that direction at the moment with mixed results, I have to say. And now don't ask me any more.
Deb's got a question.
More of a thank you, really, I suppose, just from following off the early conversation when you were saying about how the books are produced. You put in one of the Facebook threads recently a very detailed, this is how a book gets created. And I don't think any of us had quite visualized just how many steps there are and how long it takes to go from, I have an idea and I do some typing, to here's a physical printed book that you can now read. And I think
sorry, if I can interrupt, the book actually spends longer at the publisher having those bits done to it than it does for me to write it. It takes me, say, 6 months to write a book. Headline usually have it 6 months and a bit more. There is a lot to do, but what slows it down is, and I'm not sure that people realize this, Headline is an enormous publisher. It's part of the second biggest publishing group in the world. And there are other authors out there, and there is a schedule. And while they're working on mine, say that the art department is working on the cover, they're not just working on mine, they're working on 10, 12, 15, 20 other covers as well. Apparently, this is not Headline, but I have read somewhere that several thousand books are published every week in this country, which is astonishing. And a substantial number of those will be from Hachette, of whom Headline is part. So, you know, I have to wait my turn, which is why I am so grateful to Headline, because Small Hope and Pennyroyal was not contracted. I just wrote it off the top of my head. And they not only picked it up, they picked it up and plonked it in the schedule for next year as well. And it could have been several years before they'd been able to fit it in. So yeah, when they have to, they move quite quickly. But the point I'm trying to make is I have to wait my turn.
Yeah. My other point was about someone saying about the listening chat, auto text transferal kind of software you can get. We have it for work. So we record all our calls to clients and you get a summarized chat bot at the end of it. And it's usually very good. So-and-so agrees to do this, you will do this, they will do this, you will have a call in 2 days' time. Only ours last week has had a few moments and included me offering my friend service to help retile my client's bathroom, which was not in any circumstances uncovered. I said I would help Marie get some merge fields for a letter they're going to write. They translate that Marie will help retile Matthew's bathroom. And just to say, don't rely on the technology too much. Please check what it tells you you've written, because you might suddenly find it's not the plot you thought it was, basically.
Yeah, apparently you have to educate these things to your voice and your way of speaking. And in my case, this would be the blind leading the blind. So given the technological catastrophe that occurred last time, I think I'm going to leave well alone, actually. And also, dictating something is not the same as writing it. You can be awfully wordy if you're dictating, which you're not when you're writing. And people don't say, I spoke a book. They say, I wrote a book, don't they? So still thinking about it. 2 heads is what needed. I need another head.
Say for Jodi. Okay, we look forward to the reboot. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I haven't got any hands up anywhere.
I don't have a question, actually, more just a word of thanks. And it's, I mean, it relates to everything you do, really, but it's really, for me, it's mostly evident in the first of that series. So I know we're talking about the second, so apologies for never staying on topic. Don't think I'm the only one guilty of this, though, from today's conversation.
Can you do it in the style of Officer Clint, please?
No, don't want to do that. No, you're right. Don't mind. No, see what it is. It's that thing you do, right? Where you're brave enough not to save the nurse. You were brave enough not to save her, right?
No.
Many other authors would have just gone like, right, we'll just rescue her. She'll live. End of story.
Yeah, but I couldn't do that, because that would have been paradox then. If I'd saved her, she wouldn't have crawled through the wall in the first place. So she wouldn't have Cage wouldn't have gone back to save her. And you get into this awful time loop when nothing happens. She had to die. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, so many of my characters go that
somebody
way.
Like, let's say Dean Koontz, I don't know, or someone would have found a way. But you were brave enough to go, nah, she's dying. And you do that often. And I think it's great.
In fact, I was actually only thinking the other day, it's time for another cull, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
oh dear.
I'll have an Emmerdale moment and 75% of the characters will disappear.
Excellent.
There's a lot of shaking heads going, no.
No.
Oh, is Sharon still there?
Yeah.
Sharon, email me, will you?
Yeah, no, I was going to email you tomorrow. Will do.
Yeah, that's fine. Jodi. Yeah, fine. And the next one.
Was that Mo? Did Mo have her hand up? She's muted, so she doesn't.
No, I was saluting Sharon.
Oh, Officer Clint, yes.
Yes, Officer Clint, sorry. Yes.
Nasty bit of work she is, isn't she?
Terrifying.
Yeah, mind your manners, you.
It's interesting, isn't it? Out of all the people there, Officer Clint was easily the most popular. She strode about threatening to shoot everybody on the spot.
Well, according to somebody who thought I had murdered you, one of the things they found to be one of the reasons why they thought I'd murdered you was gun fondling. I'm like, that was the nicest thing they said about me. They also said my eyes were too close together and I had a suspicious nose. I thought, come on, guys. I wasn't acting a suspicious nose. But okay. I'll take
Just
it.
give me a minute, chat among yourselves. Suspicious nose.
The one I thought was hysterical was when someone thought Hazel did it.
Oh, I know, that was brilliant.
I thought that was
genius.
hysterical, but I've got to be careful how I mention that.
Yes.
Suspicious Nose could be the best Elvis cover ever, by the way. That'd be a perfect karaoke song to do. Next time, that's what you sing, Sharon. That's got to be
Yeah.
one.
I'm caught in a Kleenex.
Because I love you too much, baby. Yeah, no, this is going to get very weird.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
No, it was a great weekend, Karen. Thank you very much for organising that and producing all those fabulous characters as well. Everybody was amazing. Even Ashley, and he was so nervous and he was brilliant.
He was terrified, bless him.
Oh, bless him.
He hasn't recovered.
Did he get slapped on the Sunday?
Eh?
Did he get the slap on the Sunday?
He couldn't do it. He couldn't do the slapping. He's not able to hit a woman, and that's that. Bless
Fair
him.
enough.
I've got Marianne with her hand up.
Okay, question. And okay, no spoilers here, but I'm gonna jump into the third book without any spoilers. But I'm just wondering, did you know when you were writing the first and second book, did you know where you were going to go with Elizabeth's kind of backstory? I mean, because it took such a left turn.
No. The Cage books are the ones that I almost literally make up as I go along. I've no idea where they're going. I've no idea how they're going to turn out. So torture me as you will. I am unable to tell you anything at all. They are the most complex books that I write because I'm making it all up. So there are all these characters, they have to have their backstories. There are all these situations that she finds herself in with Jones as well. And that has to be a backstory as well. So I have to invent a history and then the events that are actually occurring and make them scary and gruesome. And then I have to devise a solution for them. So in Max's books, St. Mary's, my framework is history. So I have a vague idea of how things are going to turn out. And much the same with the Time Police as well. I research the events that happen in the Time Police. For instance, Killing Time is all about the Zanetti train. But Elizabeth Cage books are completely made up out of my head. And they're very complex to do and very tiring, actually. Great fun. And I can really let rip and slaughter things right, left and centre, which is probably enormously bad for me, but I do enjoy it. So, no, I don't know where they're going. I've more or less finished the first draft of the fourth book. As usual, I end it in a complete corner, which means when I start the fifth book, I've got some severe thinking to do, and there will be a lot of, oh, why do you do this to yourself? Yeah, very complex to write. I don't know if it shows that I'm writing in a different style with the Elizabeth Cage books to the other ones, actually. And I do try and keep it fairly light-hearted as well, because then you can lull your readers into a false sense of security with a little bit of funny happenings. And then the door opens and there's a monster standing there, and I really enjoy doing that. And I think possibly the time has come to apply for psychiatric help.
Yeah, no, you managed to create jump scares in books. You know, you're just like, reading. Oh, it's like, holy crap.
You need to stay in the lounge in case he comes.
But yeah, no, but it was, like I said, it was brilliant. I mean, didn't see it coming, never would have anticipated, but it was wonderful.
Well, thank you. The author never sees it coming either, so sometimes it becomes a bit of a shock to the author as well. But yeah, I think I'll get this one finished and have a think about the next one. I've already started on the next Time Police book because I want to give that a bit of a dramatic opening. And again, I can't say any more. So yeah, lots of things lined up for the foreseeable future. I think the next couple of years might be quite busy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Do we have any further questions?
I can see a
Have
hand
a
up.
bit of a
Oh, I can
word
see a
with
hand
some of
up.
these other
Chris?
writers who aren't as fast as you.
What was that?
Sorry.
Could you have a bit of a word with some of these other authors who don't turn out their new book for years? We do appreciate you not making us wait like that.
Yeah, I think it's fair to point out, though, that other authors probably have lives. You know, they have families and they go out and they enjoy themselves and they talk to other people and they go to the cinema and go out for meals and just sort of generally live normal human lives.
Jodi,
Whereas
you've
I
got
can't
the,
remember. Actually, the
Jodi,
last time I went out was last week when I was with you lot.
Jodi, you've got the biggest family I know. We're all here, mate.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Even if we
Sorry,
could kill
you still patiently got your hand up.
Yes, Christine, come on then.
I've got a question that's off topic as well. Is there going to be another book in the Nothing Girl series?
There's a short story next year, Storm Christopher. I myself think that the story has come to a natural end. I don't want to go down the Jenny and Russell having marital problems route and then a big reconciliation at the end. So at the moment, no, but I've learned that no sooner do I say, oh, Frankie, Small Hope and Pennyroyal will only be one book. Don't worry about it. When an idea comes into my head, and I'm going to have to break it to her that there might be a second book as well. So I'm not going to say there won't be any more Jenny and Russell, but I don't have any plans at the moment, is what I'm going to say.
Thank you. Thank you. And can I ask, are the horses pukas?
Pukas? You mean
Yes.
the ghosts?
Well, they're elemental spirits, aren't they?
They are whatever you want them to be. I've always tried to be very careful not to give Thomas anything that Jenny herself doesn't know. So whether he's a manifestation of her imagination, whether he's an invisible entity, whether he's some kind of angel, whether he's some kind of psychic projection, I've left that to the reader, actually. But he doesn't really know any more than Jenny does, except in this short story. There's a moment in this short story coming up. You'll have to watch for it.
Right, because I'm expecting a 6'3.5" white rabbit called Harvey to turn up as well.
I had a dog called Harvey, and everybody said, oh, it's after Harvey Smith, isn't it? Do you remember the show jumper?
Yes.
I had to say, no, I'm sorry. It's Harvey after the 6'3.5" invisible white rabbit in the James Stewart film. And since most people hadn't seen that, they tended to back away at that point.
Right. But thank you very much. I'm
You're welcome.
thoroughly enjoying your writing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Favourite James Stewart films. I knew where you were going with the puka comment. I've just looked on Amazon and Storm Christopher is due out on the 1st of April.
Oh, thank you for telling me. 1st of April. Okay.
Mo's got her hand up.
Yes.
Right, yeah, sorry, I had to unmute and it took me a while. My question's actually, I feel that I am familiar with the characters that you write about in a way. God, I'm doing this really badly. Yeah, what I'm asking about is whether you feel that you actually begin to channel them as you get to know them, and they just kind of, or is it deeply psychologically thought out?
I think we've established that I don't really plan ahead.
No, but you know where everything's going. In
I
something.
I sometimes know how, well, I like to know how a book is going to end, because then I know where I'm going. All I've got to do is work out how to get there. If I become uneasy if I don't know how it's going to end, because I'm lost and I'm just meandering about all over the place. I don't really plan things out, and I've noticed that if I do plan things out, the characters, and I think we had this discussion on Facebook recently, the characters
sorry.
quite often wander off and do their own thing. And I think, oh, if this happened now, what would, and I write out a couple of pages and think, well, that seems to be working. Let's see where this goes. And it's not like automatic writing, you know, I'm not possessed or anything like that.
No, that's not what I was thinking. But it just strikes me, and certainly I find that I get so into something that I actually know how things are going to turn out, how things will work. And I just was interested in because the characters are so real. I'm talking widely at the moment. They are, well, in the sense that, you know, we know how they're going to behave. You only have to see what we put on Facebook. You know, that would be Markham. You know, that sort of thing. They're really well written and really individual and separate and special. And
well, that's very kind of you to say so. Thank you. That's what an author likes to hear.
But it's true anyway. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Myself, then I completely forgot how to do it. I'm with Mo.
Technically, we're not the best bunch on the planet, are we?
No, really not. Do we have anything else? We've got another 5 minutes, and then we need to let poor Jodi go and have some rest, because we've probably frazzled her. Anything from you, Fee or Hazel? Hazel's talking, but she's muted.
Yeah, I'm talking with nothing, and I finally worked out how to get my face up. I'm so techie. I'm brilliant, aren't I? Joke.
Well, you fit right in with the rest of us.
About 10 minutes before the end. No, I'm looking forward to doing the next book. I'm going to read the third one because I can't leave it as it was, just having done 2. I've got to do the third one, so I have to do them together. But yes, just, you know, keep going. I've been thoroughly enjoying my rereads again.
I am as well. I hadn't actually read Dark Light since I sent it off to the publishers. So I've got to say, bits of it did come as a bit of a surprise to me. And I did tend to sit there thinking, I wonder what I was thinking when I wrote that. So, yeah, I'm enjoying the rereads much more than I thought I would, actually. I'm really looking forward. It is The Nothing Girl next, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, we're doing The Nothing Girl next, but I'm sorry, I'm reading the 3rd Elizabeth Cage before I start The Nothing Girl. So
yeah, me too.
So I'll have to
I think I might actually. I found it really useful since I'm actually writing an Elizabeth Cage at the moment. So I think I might do that. But I will read The Nothing Girl because that's another one that I haven't actually read since I sent it off to the publisher. So it's like coming to it for the first time, you know, because I've written a few since then.
So for the next month, we'll all try and fit in the 3rd Elizabeth Cage and The Nothing Girl, because we're not going to be able to meet up now until about the 4th of January, I think. If we look at the weekends that are available, it actually might be about the 6th of January, I think. So we've got plenty of time. We can fit 2 books in there.
Okay, so that's these 2 then.
Yes.
Okay. And I've even got a diary here, 6th of January.
I think that will probably be the next sort of 6th or 7th.
Probably, if we want to do Sunday, it would be the 7th.
Yeah.
It'll be the 7th, yeah. Sundays are good.
Later and later. Go on.
Well,
never do it. Joking. So that means now would be the time to wish you all a very merry and everything, yes?
Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah.
would.
Yes, happy Christmas, everybody.
I
And a
ordered
happy
a
Merry
time
Christmas, everybody.
police. Yeah, have fun or else.
You are very
I
good.
know what you're laughing about.
Oh, it's this time police merriment, isn't it?
I love it.
Enforced jollity.
Yeah.
We just had somebody join at the very last minute
Ah,
Oh,
who might be a bit late. Bieber J, whoever that is. Hello, welcome. No, they've gone very. They haven't muted.
And they're gone.
and
They've gone again.
No, I
They're
know.
here.
No, they're still there.
We've moved.
Oh,
That's all. They are here.
I
They're
can
here
frighten
against
them,
the
do you
lovely blue
think?
sky.
And me.
Hello, Bieber J, whoever you are. Welcome to the group. We're just about to end.
Oh,
And as someone has pointed out, we'll have had Christmas pie out by then as well, so we'll be able to read that too.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh, yes, there's a little competition element in Christmas pie. I look forward to hearing your comments in January. And more than that, I'm not going to say.
Okay.
and poor Ali has only just joined an hour late. I'm so sorry,
Oh.
Ali. Missed most of it. You're going to have to watch the recording.
Where's Ali? Ali,
It's under
Reservation.
reservations. I
oh,
assume that's Ali anyway.
working discreetly in the background.
Yes.
yeah.
have you got a question, Ali?
I don't think she can only type. I don't think she can speak
Oh,
because
right.
she's at work.
Oh,
She has to look like she's doing something official.
That's so cute.
I think that's it then.
right. Okay, then. Well, lovely to see you all again, especially
You
after
too.
last weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, and looking forward to more. Hazel's asked me to organise something for the spring and another murder mystery next, just before Christmas.